This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Who I am and how I go about my personal life is no longer up as a punching bag for me politically.
CBRM's mayor and Tory leadership prospect gets personal.
Cecil Clarke on being gay and why he's opening up now. Tonight, the private side of a public person. Cecil Clarke, the mayor of the Cape Breton Regional Municipality and presumed candidate for the PC leadership, speaks exclusively with CBC News.
He says he feels the need to speak out about his personal life after someone threatened to expose that Clarke is gay. Here's Gary Mansfield with tonight's top story.
That's homophobia and the fact that I'm gay in political life, then, shame on people that do that.
The mayor's personal life is a secret no more. Today, live on CBC Radio, Cecil Clarke told the island he will not sit back and watch people try to shame him.
Where someone, for all I can say, is hate and wanting to possibly shame, but at the end of the day, to hurt me.
Clarke is in his second term as mayor, also spent time at Province House, where he served as a cabinet minister. He says over the years, during his public and political life, he says it's been difficult to maintain privacy in his personal life.
But I'm not going to go forward and announce my intentions about the Progressive Conservative Party leadership race, having people think that they are going to shame me or hold something over me or make it negative, that in this day and age that being gay is somehow a bad thing.
Clarke says he's in a long-term relationship and wants his partner to feel comfortable about sharing their lives together.
I'm in a committed relationship. I love the person I'm with. That man is very special to me, and I'm not prepared to go in my future journey alone. And I'm not going to do it ashamed or afraid or not proud of who I am as a person. And I hope people will not allow that to cloud who I am as a politician either.
Clarke says he also wants to clear the air surrounding his personal life before Saturday, when he's expected to throw his hat into the ring for the Nova Scotia PC leadership race. Gary Mansfield, CBC News, Sydney.
CBRM Mayor Cecil Clarke got personal today in the lead up to what is expected to be his leadership run for the Progressive Conservatives in this province. He spoke for the first time publicly about being gay. It was a conversation with Wendy Bergfeld live on CBC Radio's Main Street, Cape Breton, earlier today.
Good afternoon, Mayor Clarke.
Good afternoon, Wendy.
You sent us an email yesterday, and you said you wanted to talk.
I did. Wendy, this was one of those weeks when, as you just talked about, you're looking at planning for your potential future and what that might mean. And in the course of that week, something happens to take you to one of your lowest points in your life, where someone, for all I can say, is hate and wanting to possibly shame, but at the end of the day, to hurt me. And if that's homophobia and the fact that I'm gay in political life, then, shame on people that do that. But I'm not going to go forward and announce my intentions about the Progressive Conservative Party leadership race, having people think that they are going to shame me or hold something over me or make it negative, that in this day and age that being gay is somehow a bad thing. And it took a long time on a journey of life to get around to that, but I'm in a committed relationship. I love the person I'm with. That man is very special to me, and I'm not prepared to go in my future journey alone. And I'm not going to do it ashamed or afraid or not proud of who I am as a person. And I hope people will not allow that to cloud who I am as a politician either.
It has come up before, and you and I have discussed it before. There have been episodes that have been unpleasant. But I remember in one particular situation in 2006 where you said, just no, let's just let it go. Why at this moment? What is different now than in maybe those other campaigns?
Well, as I say, this was a week of, like I say, one of the lowest points of my life, when you get to the point that you actually feel people's hate And I said, enough is enough. And I'm not going to try and pretend. And you know, I've always been supportive from the city's point of view of pride initiatives and stuff, but I haven't been part of the face of that. And at the same time, growing up has been very tough. I've been very guarded. I'm a public person with a very private life. And so in going forward, when someone gets to your core, when I was 4 and then 7, I was sexually assaulted as a child, and I thought I'd recovered very well from that, and that I had the love of a family that was there for me and a community that supported me. And this week, all of that hurt and pain came barreling back. And I said, you don't owe this, you don't own me, and I owe it to myself to be true going forward, because I'm not going to have people trying to shame me or somehow get out there and malign. When they lose every other argument, they attack you, the person, the character, and I've always been strong enough to push through that. But I am in a very serious relationship, and I'm not going to sacrifice that relationship, and I'm not going to be ashamed of that relationship. And I want to make sure that, quite frankly, early in life, I was allowed and encouraged to be politically active, and I always talk about even in school. And I would hate to think, and in that era, in the 70s and 80s, things were a lot different. And part of the vulnerability of being a child is people saw something that was, you know, a weakness they saw in you or something they could exploit. And so as a result of that, yeah, I'm not prepared anymore. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not going to go forward and make an announcement and have to think that I'm looking over my shoulder and that someone else is going to smear me with something, or think that they're going to make me afraid or make me weak, when everything about my life has been about building a better person and being stronger.
I want to ask you, when these attacks come to you, what do you think is behind it? What do you think is happening?
You know, again, I think it's a very weak person. I think it's someone who's probably more bitter at themselves. If you have to go to the last thing that you have is when you lose all decency, is you attack something that you think is going to hurt. And it hurt this week to the point that I never felt it before. And it took me 48 hours with friends and family helping me come through, as I say, a very dark time. And also saying, you know, I'm sorry, to hell with you. You don't own my life. I've committed my life to public service. I'm very proud of that public service. I'm not afraid of tough issues or taking a stand, as people well know. And I don't mind criticism and constructive criticism about the work I do, because that is part of the parliamentary process. But who I am and how I go about my personal life is no longer up as a punching bag for me politically.
Cecil Clarke, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you so much, Wendy.